Living in Germany during World War II caused many citizens to flee to the United States due to the catastrophes they endured. Many of these civilians lost their homes, loved ones, and hope, but fortunately, there are individuals who are still alive today to tell their story. Anneliese Walter is an 88-year-old immigrant who was born in Sindelfinger, Germany. She came to the United States in 1944 during World War II when she was just a small child due to the fact that her town was bombed. During the Second World War, Allied air forces dropped nearly 2 million tons of bombs on Germany, destroying 60 cities, killing more than 500,000 German citizens, and leaving 80,000 pilots dead. Much of the bombing was carried out against the express demands of the Allied military leadership, according to Hansen in 2008. It was during the time when Franklin D. Roosevelt was president that this war took place in, where one of his famous quotes was, "No man can tame a tiger into a kitten by stroking it. There can be no appeasement with ruthlessness. There can be no reasoning with an incendiary bomb. We now know that a nation can have peace with the Nazis only at the price of total surrender," according to Student News Daily in 2015. Anneliese and her family lived in very small bunkers with hardly any supply of food and water. Since food was so scarce, her grandmother would have to leave her and her children to have sex with Frenchmen for bags of potatoes to feed them. Her father was in the German army and was killed in France at age 29. As a teenager, she came to America on an army ship called the USS Nimitz because she had married an American soldier in Germany. She was on the ship for only 11 days when she lost 20 pounds due to seasickness. When she came to America, she had nothing to her name. Her mother encouraged her and her sisters to marry American men because she wanted them to have a stable and happy life. Being so young, the memories Anneliese has of Germany are mostly of the war, including lots of bombing, soldiers, and little food. With that, the Germans spent every single day stressed and hopeless as they were heavily controlled by Nazis. She worked very hard every single day in America to support her and her family in order to build a better life. On top of that, most European men during this time worked in trades, bricklayers, and other jobs of that nature in order to support their families. In fact, an army of skilled German workers rolled into American cities during the 19th century, bringing them the trades they had piled in their homeland. German Americans were employed in many urban craft trades, especially baking, carpentry, and the needle tracks, according to the Library of Congress. Although Anneliese is not a legal immigrant, she worries for the illegal immigrants in America right now who came here for a better life just like she did. As one of the runners-up in this presidential election, Trump states that it will be a bloody story. They're in our country, and they said if you come back, you will be executed and killed immediately. Not going to be easy, but we'll do it. Anneliese says that her generation of immigrants, specifically Germans, were not catered to like the immigrants of today. They had to speak English in order to give food and jobs, and most of them learned English within 6 months. Instructions on items did not come in several languages as they do now. Additionally, Germans had to have a sponsor in order to come to this country, meaning that her mother had to put her house up as collateral, and if she committed any crimes, then they would take her mother's house as collateral. In the interview with Anneliese, she talked about how they were not so welcome when they came here due to the fact that Americans were fighting against them at the time. One of the biggest things she stressed was that there was little to no opportunities to gain access to food stamps, healthcare, cell phones, and more, just like the immigrants today have. The 1996 federal welfare and immigration laws introduced an unprecedented era of restrictionism. Prior to the enactment of these laws, lawful permanent residents of the U.S. generally were eligible for assistance in a manner similar to the U.S. citizens, according to Broder and Lesser in 2014. It is without a doubt that immigrants in America today are provided with more benefits and resources than the ones who came here during World War II. Anneliese shared parts of her story that prove this notion to be true, in addition to the fact that the infrastructure of this country is built on the backs of many European immigrants.